Welcome to Industry Cloud Conversations. On this show, we introduce to you industry leaders and Microsoft partners who are on the forefront of emerging technology solutions that transform the way we all do business. Today's episode is all about the transformation that can happen when we combine the power of Microsoft Cloud with our ISV partners who are leaders in their industry.
I'm Welena Banner, head of Web3 Blockchain, Financial Services, and Trust on the Microsoft Cloud for Industry engineering team. And today, we're talking about how FRISS is partnering with Microsoft to help transform Azure OpenAI with the Fraud Explainer solution. FRISS is an ISV that provides analytic software for fraud, risk, and compliance for property and casualty insurers worldwide. FRISS has over 300 implementations across more than 45 countries. Let's meet our guest, Christian van Leeuwen, co-founder and CSO of FRISS, who's here to speak with us about the Microsoft Industry Cloud partnership.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hi.
Great to meet you. So excited. So first question, what are the opportunities and trends you see evolving in the insurance industry?
Yeah, so it's currently the trends are a lot what we've seen recently also on digital transformation. A lot of the insurers are completely changing the way they work, and with a strong focus on customer experience. So totally focused on making sure that their competitive advantage and in order to stay ahead of the competition, really give them that sense in the market where they want to be. And at the same time, also grow in new areas like embedded insurance, or they want to grow into new, small commercial, but also with a strong focus to retain existing customers. A number of opportunities for also in the market currently, in the trends that are happening, is where they are in some cases completely reinventing their current processes. So optimizing in terms of cost, increased efficiency. That's something where also a big portion of the opportunities for insurers are. Just as one example to mention here maybe is that, for instance, what we see with the rise of inflation, that also impacts insurers a lot. So imagine that if there's a large claim and it takes a while to settle, ultimately the cost will go up because of also rising cost of all the material to replace it. And a faster turnaround time will also immensely help insurers to save cost, and at the same time help customers and give them a better experience.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, digital transformation is the name of the game all across many different industries, and efficiency and effectiveness absolutely play into that. For this next question, it's a bit of a two-parter. What potential do you see for generative AI for your customers? And how will businesses be impacted or improved?
Yeah. I always say that, like, currently the opportunities, I think we currently live in the with AI in the era of the model. And what I mean with that is that before, a lot of the times when you really want to effectively get the power of artificial intelligence, you really need to have data to train it. I think with currently the generative AI developments, there's really an opportunity to use the models without actually having the data to be able to train it. And I think that's where traditionally insurers in some cases can tend to have noisy data, as we call it. It's of course highly sensitive in terms of the privacy surrounding that. And they typically support an omni-channel strategy. So they have to use a lot of different channels and offer those to their customers. So the potential is quite huge, I would say, and I expect to see a lot of impact across the entire policy lifecycle where generative AI will be used. And maybe to point out like a couple of broader areas and others that are more specific to also closely related to what we do at FRISS. But if we look at the broader area, I think a lot of is focused on giving that customer the best experience and being able to retain those customers with really personalized support and explanation, for instance, with chatbots that are really targeted on the customer situation, or for instance, coverage explainers, where a customer really can have an interaction with a chatbot about their specific policy coverage that they have, to ask questions, to understand what is covered and what not. On the other hand, more broadly, I think we see basically Gen I as will act as a sort of a co-pilot for their workers on all levels of decision making. So they will be there to support the communications, right? To draft already initial message, which they will fine tune and then be able to send out to the customers. It also is a huge time saver to unlock data, which is normally now in unstructured form, which the Gen AI can help structure. And then with a human-like explainer on top of it, really give that extra power to the worker to have a smoother and a faster process, even summarizing documents or in workbenches to support underwriters, for instance. I think these are the broader areas, and more specific to FRISS. I think so. We're looking to inject a lot of the Gen AI capabilities in our platform to also supplement our own capabilities that existing capabilities that we have, and specific use cases that fit in our end-to-end strategy. We're looking at, as already explained by you, the smart stories, what we call the fraud explainer, but also to help that unstructured data, where a lot of the patterns that we're looking for, they're usually tied in very deep in this unstructured data to find these fraudulent patterns that we're looking for. So that's what really is helpful, and where we use the Gen AI to get entities extracted from those documents with the help. But even as far as thinking about a fraud bot that really can help an investigator do their work a lot smoother. Of course, there's always going to be a human attached to that process, but to really support them in that case, that is what. So we see the strongest impact, as a final note on this, the strongest impact where we really can combine our own IP with strong domain models, with the power of Gen AI to really have that human interface that can really explain better what we offer to them. And with the smart stories, the fraud explainer is where the scoring that we do with all the argumentation that we give to the user will now be able to have a sort of a story telling the user, we think that this is a bit more anomaly or something you might be looking into, because it's something we normally don't see. So the Gen AI is able to really give that a human-like description where it really supports the users.
Right. I mean, you shared so much. I mean, it's just so game changing across the board, and how you can really get the tools in the hands of the employees and really empower them to then be able to meet the customers where they are, I think is absolutely incredible. Last question. So as a CSO, what are the big topics or concerns in terms of security, privacy, and ethics, particularly in the age of AI?
Yeah. So I think that is really a vital topic actually to address as well. So I think, on the other hand, our customers and also our team see the potential that Gen AI has, and the Azure OpenAI services, the power that they can bring, and at the same time, the other side of it is also that we need to make sure that our scoring that we do on potential fraud and the explanations we give, that it does not result in a computer says no, right? You maybe know that example from a very famous television show. It really needs to be transparent, and be able to, the explainability is vital in that. And that really requires adoption. So what we notice in terms of security, privacy, and also ethics, that of course, we've at FRISS adopted the 7 pillars of ethical AI that also the European Union published, and also other directives are coming to market with that. But on that topic, explaining why we want to use it, or how we exactly use it, where data flows, where data is reside, if the large language models will be retrained with their data. So these are some of the questions that our customers have, and they want to have that confidence that whatever they put in it or we put in it based on their data is ultimately really is safe and is not being used for other purposes. And that is it's often not clear for the clients today. It doesn't mean we know that it's secure, and there are all kinds of possibilities that OpenAI also offers in the platform to make that secure and to being able to deal with the privacy regulations in there. But really have to educate and help the customers in that, because they also have to go through this process where internally all of their people and also the privacy officers and compliance officers, they need to be fully on board with this to be able to use this technology. And that adoption, that takes a bit of time, but I'm very confident that we're going to get there.
I agree. I think we will get there. There's a lot of things we have to still consider. And much like with any other emerging technology that becomes really kind of all-encompassing in some ways, I think, with this type of measured approach, we'll definitely get there together. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today on our Industry Cloud conversation. It's really been a great discussion. You've provided tremendous insights, and it's really been a really great partnership as well with FRISS.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to what's ahead.
Great. Absolutely.
So on my end, for just some quick observations on the discussion, what tremendous insights Christian was able to share with us. I mean, there's everything from, how we're empowering employees, what to look out for security and privacy, the level of education to ensure that folks understand what's happening behind the scenes, not only internal to a company, but also to the customers when they're receiving the feedback and the insights from generative AI. So, it seems like sky's the limit, but again, a measured approach to this, I think, is the name of the game. Thank you for watching Industry Cloud Conversations. Remember to subscribe for more industry insights from leaders bringing their businesses into the future. And we'll be back in your feed soon to double click on another hot topic within the ever evolving worlds of business and technology. Cheers.